Uh, at the outset, let me thank the organizers, Dr. Pranay, and for giving me an opportunity to speak on this bit offbeat topic. And since it is a master class, you will soon realize that I take this task quite seriously because they had told me that this is a master class technical session teaching. So I have taken it very seriously. And I really appreciate you all taking time out on this early Saturday morning and reaching here and being present here. So first of all, you should pat yourself on the back for caring so much for yourself, that you have made yourself being present here. Really appreciate it. And maybe, just maybe, if you stick around, I will appreciate it more by giving you a free gift at the end of the session. Okay. I have taken the liberty of adding the word safely in this topic. Uh, One of the prime reason for choosing this topic, beside it being very close to my heart, is a series of incidents that I witnessed during the Technocian events in end of August. Uh, Over the course of 4 days, I had judged three drone-related events, during which I interacted with a number of drone enthusiasts, educators, teachers, and parents. What I observed was a general lack of awareness across spectrum about safe drone operations. Uh, I too witnessed a number of incidents during those days. Uh, if someone is interested, we can discuss those incidents and observations separately. But the point is that I got really, really worried that uh, you know the level of awareness and importance given to the safety aspects uh, needed a lot of improvement, in my opinion, at that particular time. So I have chose to modify this topic a bit. At the outset, uh, just to uh, build the context, let me ask you a couple of questions. So obviously, when I ask how many of you have operated a drone or have been in near one being operated, I think the response should be 100%, because everybody coming inside has to have gone next to a drone. Okay, but if I ask how many have you seen it crash, so I have also seen it crash, the number reduces a little bit, right? So there are two reasons for it. Either somebody is not willing to admit it, or somebody is not into R&D, he is just sitting here for knowledge sake. Because if you are a true enthusiast and you have flown a drone, you would have definitely seen it crash. If you have not seen it crash, you are not doing the R&D. Okay, that is my reading. We may have difference of opinion. But how many, so for those who did not raise their hand, how many of you know that it can crash? Again, 100%, it should be 100%. But can it crash on your head? Now this is the problem. This is where the difference happens, and you should realize the importance of the what I am going to speak today. So now, what do you expect from this short 15 minutes talk? I have been told that I have a little bit of time, so I can take my time in explaining things. So I will do that. Uh, the I will talk about the regulatory landscape and possible impact of unsafe operations, highlight the necessity of safety oversight, risk management, and its assessment, first assessment, then its management in terms of mitigation and go-no situations, build upon it and suggest some best practices at the end. So, who all can use this information and who all are involved in rolling out a safe drone landscape? I am sure all of us will be belonging to one or more of these categories which are displayed. We can be manufacturers, software developers, service providers. Like sir is a part of a lot of training and certification part of regulatory bodies, etc. So more or less everyone is impacted in some manner with this. Before going forward, just allow me to cover a quick snapshot of my personal journey till now. I am a third generation armed forces officer. I flew helicopters with the Indian Air Force before getting trained as an operations officer in an air defense unit in 2010, where we took a serious look at the developing UAS threat at that particular time. And post that tenure, I was trained as an aerospace safety and accident investigation officer and spent about 3.5 years implementing those policies and those learnings and investigating accidents at a frontline airbase of Indian Air Force. Before leaving Indian Air Force in 2020, I was involved in academic research work on security and defense related issues. And during this, my peer-reviewed research work was published as a book. Post-retirement, I have founded BG Pathfinders and was fortunate to have been associated with ADART, which is a defense testing infrastructure site which is being set up in Defense Corridor, Tamil Nadu. Uh, Having been connected with the ecosystem for a long time, I thought of covering the basics for new entrants and experience like in the second book called as Drone Biz Boom. Both of these are available on Amazon. In both of these, a significant portion has been dedicated to ensure dissemination of information about safe operations. The EASA has recently released a report, an annual safety review of 2024. For the first time, it mentions 12 incidents particular to on US related incidents and accidents. Out of these, two have been termed as serious, and of these, one was fatal and one with very serious injuries. The fatality occurred as an 8 kg model aircraft in full flight struck an uninvolved remote pilot. In the non-fatal accident, a 31 kg model sailplane diverted from its path during the towing phase and hit the ground before seriously injuring an uninvolved remote pilot of another UAS with one of its wings. So this UAS pilot, in both cases, were not really involved in this, in the operating the accident causing UAS. So the point I want to highlight is that in both cases, the injuries and the fatalities occurred to uninvolved pilots, uninvolved US pilots. So what does it mean? That from purely statistic point of view and very limited data set which we have right now, it will build up. From this, it is very clear that yes, it can be fatal. Secondly, in both cases, a person is flying in on his own, but he is not aware of what the other person is doing. And this is the exact thing which I had observed during my this judging which happened last month. Youngsters are practicing flying, losing control, hitting people on the legs and whatnot. Everything I observed. When you ask them, ask the supervisors that what is it that you are teaching. So some of them are just not aware. They take offense as parents. Why are you stopping my kid? Don't tell me. I know everything. So point is that as responsible, like I'll just cover it again. So now I'll come to our security matrix. I wanted to show this slide. A little bit dated. There have been recent agri-drone crashes, many of them seen. this safety security matrix is highlighted here in our case. We There was one fatality in one of these incidents, the bottommost left one. So in the bottommost left one, there was this was the agri drone which was being used to spray or spray I think scented water over a parade which was going on, 26 January parade somewhere in Madhya Pradesh, and then it crashed, serious injuries, the person died later. Not recorded anywhere, you will not find it, the the incident anywhere, but we've had our share of hospitalities, and this is few years ago. So my question is that is all this getting recorded anywhere for us? And similarly, all of you as operators must ask yourself this question as company, that are you recording them anywhere within your company books? So to be passed down to there is employee churn. So when the employee churn happens, the knowledge level, knowledge set, records should remain, and they should be handed over. So we know that the drones can cause serious injuries. Now this was the study, FAA sponsored study, which was conducted in between 2017 and 2019. I believe it was a mellowed down version report. The report which came out was a very mellowed down version, because they didn't want to disturb the evolution of that the landscape, which was economic impact they wanted to limit. But uh, multiple collisions under test conditions did prove that this is a hazard. And the safety security matrix has also impacted the rollout of the regulatory framework, which has changed the entire landscape. A part of it was covered yesterday, or maybe day before yesterday also. So the key aspect which I want to highlight here is this was issued in August 2021, and let me point out that these rules were based on a premise of trust, self certification, and non intrusive monitoring. Somebody just before was saying I have read the drone rules 2021, but if you really go through them, they're very permissive, from whether from R&D point of view or from any other angle which you want to look at. Because they were permissive, we all had such a nice growth in our ecosystem. But remember, it was based on trust. That is the key to it. So they were followed by establishment of a PLI scheme, a drone airspace, a drone directorate, and a drone aerospace map was released. And thereafter the issuance of aspirational UTM policy framework. So the UTM policy framework has been in existence for some time now. But then there is a debate on BVLS operations, which is a continuum. Let's see how it goes. Now, this series of developments in regulatory sphere continued, and this month the policy on the vertiport establishment type certification of VTOL aircraft has been released. So the drone rules were designed to usher in a era of supernormal growth while balancing safety and security considerations. Both were very hotly debated topics. I was part of few such discussions also, and several approvals were abolished and process was simplified. We know of interactive airspace map, and best part of this was the, like I already covered, R&D environment was very permissive. You just had to have a registered your concern and fly whatever in green zones. No permission required up to 400 feet. Very radical step which was taken at that particular time. But so I already covered this. This R&D concessions were given. But from security perspective, we have to understand, we all understand that aircraft is just more than just a payload carrying device. It is, there will be a lot of software engineers which are coming. It is also a networked computing device. And it has onboard mini or micro storage, disk port, etc. Because it has got this kind of use, it it is also exposed to various threats. The threats will include, some of the common attacks against drones include platform takeover, spoofing attacks, and even jamming. So, like I covered, how can we support and increase the trust factor amid the security perspective, safety as perspective, and growth perspective as a business? So, from a safety perspective, we need to ensure that we follow firm safety standards for ourselves within our company. The training we impart and undertake must match realities of the mission, both for your internal purposes, internal training purposes, and for the external training purposes when you make a sale. So it should match the realities. The risk assessment is the key here. How do you assess a risk of a mission? You need to think about it and evolve your own matrix. The safety practices must be practically implementable with a proactive approach. And I know many of you must be thinking, why us? What is regulator doing? I mean, why put it on to us? Why? What is regulator's contribution? So regulator, I agree. Regulator also must contribute. So regulator must understand and focus on the human element and understand that this is the most vulnerable element which causes most security related issues. So the focus has to be to undertake facilitative risk assessment before policy formulation. So the risk assessment is applicable equally to the policy making bodies. They should understand that it should be facilitative in nature. I'm not saying it is not, it is, but it has to be a focused approach whenever these policies are rolled out. Encourage area specific local solutions, that is, you can involve local governments, local bodies, and teach these from very, whenever these programs are undertaken. Drone Didi program is being rolled out, various programs being rolled out. This safety aspect should be part of that culture which gets developed at the instant. I think we should start from that and thereafter develop it. Record keeping is very important, and this database must in the central place, and this database must be accessible, and information must be disseminated to the ecosystem to avoid this recurrence. So the incident accident response SOPs must include dissemination of info to all. So generally, whatever accident incident is occurred, the reason it has occurred should go to the ecosystem so that rest all can take facilitative actions. People have found that operating in just next to power lines is not very healthy for the drone. So we had seen a crash on Delhi Metro, 2023, I think December, on Christmas Day. So that is one part. So the point here is, from a regulatory point of view, we all want facilitation and not restriction. But here, I also briefly contextualize safety and, sorry. So I want to, contextualize safety vis-a-vis hazard. So when we say hazard, it can be defined by any condition, event, or circumstance that could cause an accident. So this assessment happens whenever a mission is being undertaken, whether it is a training mission, whether it is a testing flight. This is a very important assessment which happens. And risk and safety is simply absence of this hazard and absence of risk, which itself is the probability that this event is going to occur. So the risk assessment and management is the key to safe operations. I may be sounding repeatable in this, that I am repeating myself, but it is because I want to emphasize on this very important aspects. Now this brings me to certain best practices that I would recommend for ensuring safe operations that could result in significant cost savings. Remember, safety has a direct impact on your top line as a business. It is an economic issue. Please take it as an economic issue. It's got direct impact on your operation cost. Any crash causes a loss, significant loss. Preventing it is saving you costs. Look at it especially from this point of view. So you must promote safety culture within your organization through continuous education and training. Have robust information distribution systems as your organization grows, and you will see its positive impact. Define mission risk assessment criteria and quantify go no go situations very clearly to your operators on the ground. Undertake period independent audits and surprise inspections. Institute award programs for contribution towards safety, and have accident response, investigation and reporting plan ready. So preservation of evidence is very important from cyber forensics point of view. I believe certain firms are now forging into this area. So it is very important that you provide a preservation of the evidence for them to find out what actually happened. So accurate assessment will aid in your corrective measures, uh, and again result in it not getting repeated. Again, it will save you money. So it's all linked. So in the about 15 minutes available to me, I had this much to say, but I have covered my thoughts on various aspects of regulations and how they relate towards aspects of security as well as safety, based upon which I have recommended the necessity of accurate risk assessment and its management. Uh, my point is, why not look at these aspects from the perspective of regulator as well? So please look at it from a regulator aspect as well also, before forming an opinion and shooting off the cuff remarks on social media. Oh yes, nahi kar raha, and uh, there was a very good 10-15 pointer social media post which went, and it went almost viral because everybody was into that. But understand from regulator point of view, it has to ensure safe operations for its citizens. Unaware people, the statistics show unaware people who are not operators are going to get impacted, whether it's fatalities or whether it's serious injuries. So regulator has to take care of that. And by this time also you would have understood that implementing these aspects is an unavoidable necessity, and armed with this knowledge one can easily roll out your safety program in consonance with the regulator. So I again and again emphasize consonance with the regulator. If you are getting adversely affected, please take it up with the regulator. Okay, this is the point which we want corrections. It is being addressed. I have seen it being addressed. The amendments get issued quite regularly and very fast responses there. Uh, then you can also have a trusted knowledge partner with the necessary experience and domain expertise and capability to deliver on this safety promise. Because from a regulatory perspective, like I am afraid, how long would regulator honor the unwritten freedom of operation rule? I mean, at some stage PMO will say, "Ki boss, enough." And this freedom of operation environment will get impacted in case there is number of incidents and accidents continue to rise, and there are possible losses to both property as well as life. So I will stop here, and I was not able to cover the full points, but uh, every nuance I could not cover. But I hope I have been able to convey the importance of these aspects from from your business development, whatever point of view, in the entire scene. So, like I said, you have been a great audience, and thank you for coming. Please contact me and collect this small gift from my side, and thank you for your attention. And at the end of it all, I would again thank the organizers and everyone for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. And if there is time, we can take questions, sir. If 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 there are questions, we can take them.
Sir, thank you first of all for eye-opening presentation with respect to safety features and perspective. I'm a new entrant in the drone, may not be aware of all the rules, but just want to know, sir, as any strict instruction has been issued by DGCA to maintain this record all the incident and accident, or some returns are being sent, like in Indian Air Force, if I remember, 25 years before, every unit was reluctant to record or to send the return to inform further. But later on, when things become serious, now even critical snacks we are sending. So, are there any some instructions is there, or some if some instruction is there in some inspection or that sort of a audit there? Like until unless we get some instruction, I don't think unit will do this thing or RPTO will maintain this thing, because it will go or disclose this thing, because it will go against them, against their publicity, against their marketing.
So, rule-wise, the procedure is there.
Okay, it is covered in.
Yes, any serious incidents you are supposed to report to DGCA. There's a process involved. It is very clearly mentioned.
And forms and returns are available. Forms are there available.
It is a developing system. It is not completely there. So, second part which I wanted to answer was this. I wanted to show you this incident on the slide. So, this was a approved mission taken by a private company to transport whatever, showcase that it can transport safely in red zone, Delhi, red zone, and it crashed. There's photographs available, but what actually happened is not available, whether with the DGCA or to the system at large. I have taken personal interest and tried to, find out and things like that. I know the company. I spoke to the CEO. See, the problem is that the testing and R&D is in our green zones. They've not done the mission criteria and risk assessment in all these places. When it flew over the high tension cables, there was a signal loss or whatever, the flight controller had an issue, loss of thrust or whatever, that contact was lost, GPS based system, and crashed. Now, who will monitor what R&D work involves? Not only assembling the drone, it involves flying it in all possible conditions and then and get the go no go criteria.
Exactly.
So go no go criteria mein, this is a no go area. But for us as an ecosystem, we should be aware of this incident.
Exactly.
We should be told that, boss, here is the learning 10, here are the 10 learning we should implement in your
prevention measurements. Yes,
yeah. So when your 10 is brushing, see, any loss in my country of anyone is a loss.
Exactly.
Okay, they have paid certain X amount from that ecosystem which is running. Some of it, if they have sourced from, they have taken money from government, borrowed or otherwise, it is my money only. So that is what is the business. That is what I had requested the regulator. And this is not one incident. There are other incidents. Dehradun incident, very recent one, battery burning off incident. I don't know whether I have a photograph of that or not. These are incidents and accidents which are happened. Record keeping is very important. So, at the minimum, internal record keeping. At a slightly higher level, in these conferences, we should start talking about these things. And as if minutes of meeting go, it should be part of that. That yes, we all want to know. It is not that we are not, see, in flight safety, remember, it is, don't go to who. तूने crash कर दिया, get out. No.
But sir, in this competitive era, it will go against that unit who is reporting and other.
No, I have
in forces like defense forces, We also think this, that we should not report, it will go against us. But in commercial market where everybody will try to grab the business, or he'll say that RPTO crash hoga, that is not safe.
तो चोर पुलिस का गेम है. मैंने 3.5 years I have spent in that. I have reported and I have not reported in some cases.
Until what I want to
But
convey, strict instructions from there and some sort of audit of those things are there. And I'm scared more, sir, because one of the supply chain management lecture I heard that maybe probably after a few years, like traffic is going.
We can take it offline. So if I can get another question in, because it will be better. We can take it offline because this involves different viewpoints. Sir.
I just wanted to add to this one. What sir is saying has a point. Because what happens is the regulatory framework to report incidents and accidents exists when you are doing training in a RPTO which is governed by DGCA rules. Like I said, there is a serious disconnect between the training and industry. In industry, we pick up 4 drones from a company. Before we finish 100 hours of agriculture, we face 10 crashes. There is no reporting. There is no collation of information. This information is not available to the subsequent public who wants to procure this equipment. And therefore, you know, the industry works more on perception than on actual truth. So there is a point in what he says.
Yes, sir. So may I add, sir? So this point was also discussed with regulator only. They found that the drone hai crash ho gayi. That is why people did not raise their hands, no? 100% people who are doing actual R&D will raise 100% hands that is crash will happen. So what they did, they gave a unofficial sort of a message to the industry. If it is not causing a serious damage to others' property, it's not a FIR causing offense. It has not caused injury to other person than your internal, or even internal if it has caused a fatal injury. So please refrain, because so many things started coming up. They don't have that organization to handle that data. So that is why in my submission I said internal records of the company should maintain it. So it's an ecosystem which is evolving based upon trust. We have to trust the regulator. Regulator trusts us to report these incidents. If you have insurance, then insurance में third party insurance is a big headache. So insurance, I don't know, he's there, Sandeepan is there or not. We've had a lot of discussion on this. So internal records must be maintained. External, there are issues which will get resolved provided they are overloaded as it is. They are shutting down manned, they are doing a audit of where the training institutions are, actual manned flying training is taking place. All FTOs being established right now. So
thank you.
Our turn will come. Sorry, sir.
Thank you. I'm Group Captain Ravindran.
Sir.
I think I also seen right from the aero modeling from my college days, these crashes, if reported and learned, and also forward the message to the rest of the people, you can save a lot of accidents. I think drone industry can learn lot from the flight safety audit at the design, manufacture, and the flying. More so the UAVs are most of the time in the people operating area. Like let us say even in a wedding, just imagine a drone goes and hit onto either the groom or anyone, and even an injury. I mean, I'm sure it will be a very, very common. So drone industry needs to design or something like futuristic perspective. They need to calculate even before their system is designed and operated and give strict SOPs. Of course, regulator needs to intervene, but and in the Air Force or why civil aviation has got a lot of expertise if they can copy down from there. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So I agree, sir. The game is in the industry itself. This is an opportunity. Industry itself, this is an opportunity. Collect the incident, have a repository.
I think industry should take it as a learning curve, or they should take it as an opportunity rather than a,
Yes.
it is so, like a negative campaign for them.
It is going to save them money. It is going to save them lot of
money, life, the reliability of the company, etc., etc.
Yes. Yes.
Hello, sir. I had a question related to a brief point that you just touched upon. So, I wanted to know more about our insurance options. Like what can go wrong will go wrong. So I mean, money in no way will compensate for human life, but like motor vehicles have third-party insurance. Are there options for drone service providers and drone operators? And if so, like what are the regulations around it?
So, firstly, for any commercial operations, drone insurance is mandatory. It's a mandatory requirement. People are not doing it. There is lack. There is awareness that they are not doing it, but that enforcement is yet to come. It will come. By law, you are supposed to have insurance when you're flying in a commercial way. There is a company which is, there are various companies now. ICICI has also started. The first mover was, I don't know, Tropogo is here or not. Tropogo Sandeepan Sen was the one which started. So insurance is mandatory, and insurance is being provided specifically for drones. The question was we lost one MQ9 Reaper, if you know, just last week I think. So the question I raised was, because it's on lease, who insured it? So who did the insurance? So this particular part, only one company is insuring the military grade drones. The industry is facing a issue in term of insurance only for those NCNC displays in Leh, Ladakh. They have to absorb the shock of crash. So that is the lacuna. Nobody is willing to insure military display wala drones. There are conditions because it's a high risk wala area. Other than that, for civil commercial use, insurance is mandatory. Companies are providing it. You can Google it; it will come.
Sir, last question. Uh, Thank you for the insightful talk. I think regulation and safety is extremely important. Um, as a founder of a company, I think the intention is definitely there. I think what is lacking is in terms of how this manifests at an R&D level, right? Now, as a company, I can spend millions and millions and endlessly on safety, but I need to also know how much is enough. Is a parachute enough? Is data monitoring enough? Is basically some kind of landing zone, safe landing zone situation enough? Is autonomy to get to that landing zone enough, right? The comment I would like to make is building on what you said. I think this needs to be translated to a very specific set of SOPs and guidance which you touched upon, so that as industry we can make this real and we say, hey, if you have a parachute in case of the pitch angle is too much or the yaw angle or whatever roll angle is too much, then it activates the rocket operated parachute. Or if it is losing altitude beyond a certain descent rate, then it has to do this operation, or it has buzzer on board, or it has lights on board, or whatever, right? I think it needs to translate into these specific things, so that at the end of the day, as a company, I also need to manage a balance sheet. I need to maintain a certain margin, and I need to decide how much is enough, because I can spend endlessly on this R&D, but it needs to become a practical aspect of our operation as well as our cost. So I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense, but I touched upon many things here.
So if I say, you say the input costs have to be balanced without vis-a-vis my making money on this. Is that the issue is understand? So first of all, you need to do a little bit of homework. Find out in what cases parachute is mandatory by law in India. You know it is mandatory.
I don't know.
So
I'm
it is
not
there.
clear about that.
So it is there.
Okay.
It is there in law. If you don't find it, come to me. I'll tell you. For certain weight class, if it is falling at certain rate, this is defined in kilonewtons, you require a parachute. That's clear. So they found out based upon whatever study, that is a benchmark which they have taken. Similarly, this aspect which there are so many nuances to it. Your operations, your administrations, your maintenance, all three aspects are involved. In all these cases, there is a human element which is involved. Chalta hai, kar lo. Sir will be Salagree Swamitva scheme was rolled out. people were flying with what UN number कौन सा था, flying किससे कर रहे थे. So my problem is हम अपने आप को ही झूठ बोलते रहते हैं. And then we crib later on that regulator ने किया नहीं किया. So please, so it is always when you're building up something, involve safety culture from step one. It will help you save a lot of heartache. And insurance and this kind of design features are there in the rules. And there is enough material available. How you use it, how you utilize it to build up your is again a matter of so that is what I'm saying.
I'll connect with you after, sir.
Yeah, please. So, thank you so much for listening, and please collect your. I'll give you a free gift. हाँ जी सर.
सर आपकी जो टॉपिक थी ड्रोन रेगुलेटेड एरोस्पेस, और मैं जितने दिन से हेलो तो जब हम ड्रोन की बात कर रहे हैं और ड्रोन को मैं जितने दिन से समझ पा रहा हूँ, ड्रोन रेगुलेटेड पॉलिसीज़ की बात होती है, तो हमें क्या लग रहा है कि जब लोग बोलते हैं कि पॉलिसी में ये प्रॉब्लम्स है, पॉलिसी में वो प्रॉब्लम्स है, बहुत सारी चीज़ें, बहुत सारे कंपनी से इनपुट नहीं ली गई है. अगर हम एज्यूम करके चले ड्रोन की बहुत अच्छी पॉलिसी बन गई, क्या होगा? पहला, हम हार्डवेयर अच्छा बना लेंगे, हम पेलोड कैपेसिटी इंक्रीज कर लेंगे, हम अदर एसेसरीज अच्छा बना लेंगे, चाइना को बैन कर देंगे कि हमको चाइना से हमको सामान नहीं चाहिए. हम यहाँ पे एक आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात कर रहे हैं, सारे लोग यहाँ पे आपको बनाने लग गए. प्रॉब्लम उसके बाद भी रहेगी या नहीं रहेगी? प्रॉब्लम अगर रहेगी तो सबसे पहला चीज़ ये समझना जरूरी है कि ड्रोन से पेस्टिसाइड स्प्रेइंग को हटा दें, लॉजिस्टिक को हटा दें. ड्रोन से एंड ऑफ द डे में आता क्या है? डेटा. और डेटा के ऊपर में अगर हम देखें जितनी भी कंपनीज आज के डेट में काम कर रही है वो दे क्या रही है? ऑर्थो फोटो, डेम, डीएसएम, डीटीएम, कंटूर, और उनको क्या एनालिटिकल अप्रोच पता है कि अगर हमने डेटा क्रिएट कर लिया आगे कैसे उसको कंज्यूम करना है. जो डिसीजन मेकर्स हैं वो उस डेटा को आगे कहाँ यूज़ करेंगे, कैसे करेंगे. तो प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे पॉलिसी की नहीं है, प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे है उस डेटा को समझने की, उस डेटा से हम और क्या कर सकते हैं. जैसे कल भी मैंने काफ़ी सारे सेशन देखा, सभी लोग प्रॉब्लम बता रहे हैं कि मेरा बिजनेस नहीं चल रहा है, मेरे को ये प्रॉब्लम होती है, वो प्रॉब्लम होती है. मैं भी जब गवर्नमेंट छोड़ा और जब मैं भी कंपनी स्टार्ट करना चाह रहा था तो मेरे साथ भी यही प्रॉब्लम थी कि कंपनी तो मैं स्टार्ट कर लूँगा. आज के डेट में 1000, 2000, 3000 कंपनी चल रही है, तो हमारे में और उनमें डिफरेंस क्या रहेगा? हमने कंपनी बाद में खोली और अपनी आइडेंटिटी और अपने आप को ब्रांड कैसे बनाया जाए उसके ऊपर हमने काम किया. एक तो ये है. ड्रोन एजुकेशन की बात करते हैं, जितने आरपीटीओ आज के डेट में इंडिया में है वो क्या दे रहे हैं? 5 डेज 7 डेज की ट्रेनिंग कोर्सेज. उस ट्रेनिंग कोर्सेज में हम ड्रोन पायलट को सिर्फ ड्रोन उड़ाना सिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन उसमें उनको ये नहीं पता है उड़ाने के बाद भी कि ड्रोन से डेटा आता क्या है, उनकी कैपेसिटी, उनकी एफिशिएंसी को हम इंक्रीज कैसे करेंगे. यहाँ पे ड्रोन ट्रेनिंग से ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है और बिजनेस ग्रोथ के लिए भी कि हमारा आरपीटीओ सस्टेनेबल मॉडल नहीं है. सस्टेनेबल मॉडल है सेक्टोरल और थीमेटिक ट्रेनिंग में, और आज के डेट में इंडिया में एक भी कंपनी नहीं है जो सेक्टोरल और थीमेटिक ट्रेनिंग कराती है.
So if I understand correctly sir, आपने ये बोला कि ड्रोन से डेटा, ड्रोन से बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो सकती हैं, उसका एक आउटपुट हो सकता है, एक उससे हम काम ले सकते हैं. एक वो काम लेने का तरीका मैच नहीं कर रहा है जो हम ट्रेनिंग इम्पार्ट कर रहे हैं, एक बात. दूसरी बात ये है कि पॉलिसी रेगुलेटर के हिसाब से ये 5 दिन ट्रेनिंग से नहीं होगा. दो बातें मेरे को समझ में आई. इसके 2 एस्पेक्ट्स हैं इमीडिएट कॉन्टेक्स्ट में. पहली चीज़ तो कोई भी ये ऑपरेटर ये जानता है कि वो 5 दिन की ट्रेनिंग में अगर आप लर्निंग लाइसेंस ले रहे हैं, ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस ले रहे हैं, आपको उसने 4 दिन की ट्रेनिंग देके छोड़ दिया, यू कांट ड्राइव. आपका एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए. एंड एन एरर ऑन ग्राउंड फॉर अ ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस वर्सेस एन एरर इन एयर हैज़ गॉट डिफरेंट कॉनोटेशंस. पहली चीज़ तो रेगुलेटर आपको एक इनिशियल स्टार्ट देता है कि भाई ये चीज़ फॉलो कर लो. अगर आपने इतना कर लिया तो आपको RPTOs हैव बीन बैंड ऑल्सो, क्योंकि वो नहीं कर रहे थे. उनका जब क्या रिपोर्ट आई, तो एज रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन्स वी हैव टू टेल दैट ऑल्सो. हाँ तो सर मैं एक मिनट खत्म कर दूँ. तो दूसरी बात जो यूज़ का है, यूज़ में कोई भी प्रोडक्ट का एंड यूज़र के पास कैसे पहुंचना है वो उसका बिजनेस एलिमेंट होता है. आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि मैंने यहाँ पे फोटो ले ली यार, ले लो ले लो ले लो. नो, यू हैव टू नो व्हाट इज द एंड रिजल्ट. सो आपको डोमेन में चाहिए क्या, वहाँ से आपको बिल्डअप करना है कि मैं ड्रोन में क्या डालूंगा. आप ये नहीं कर सकते कि मैंने ड्रोन बना लिया, आप देखूँ मैं कहाँ पे जाना है. नो, that's fundamentals, very fundamentals. I have covered these things in my book. I'll just give it to you. So there, so और जो ग्रुप वाले कोर्सेज हैं, I think there are companies which are giving. Government of Gujarat is sponsoring these courses in that university in Gujarat, and one private company, I know the name also, it is actually conducting the courses, very heavily subsidized by the government. So for every student he is getting a lot of back. Most of the costs are being absorbed by the government of Gujarat. Maybe I don't know how it works, but उसमें वो स्पेशलिस्ट कोर्सेज कर रहे हैं जो आप बता रहे हैं. वेरी स्पेशलाइज्ड कोर्सेज दे आर डूइंग, ऑल ऑफ देम. सो but it has to grow. It is not enough. I get what you are saying. It's not enough, and we have to do much more. And stakeholders, we have to be involved in it, sir.